Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Regular season is starting to get to the end and teams are playing with different motivation level. We had two games last night. Tampa played in Florida. There was something at stake, home arena advantage for the playoffs first round, and Florida was the one that wanted it a little bit more. Tampa didn't get anything specific going 4-0 for Florida, and a clear tune that they may be tough matchup also in playoffs against Tampa. Last game was 5-0, now it was 4-0, and clear victory for Florida Panthers. Then another game, St. Louis in LA. Very even game. Kings had chances to win at the end of the regular time. A few pipes during the last 2 minutes power play, but bounces were not towards us, and St. Louis then scored in overtime and won the game 2-1. Tommy, how do you see this round yesterday?
It was altogether very unpredictable, like you mentioned. Now at the end of the season, it's hard to see how the teams are approaching these games. Other teams looking into the playoffs and already preparing for that, and some teams have nothing to play for. So extremely difficult to predict, like we saw in Florida, for example, this game. Panthers definitely wanted this win more than Tampa Bay, but I am a little bit worried about the way Lightning is playing now. They should be able to play a lot better. I don't know how easy it would be to turn on the game when the playoffs arrive. There is only about a week left to prepare, so maybe it would have paid to try and play a little bit better in the end of the season. But who am I to tell them what to do? But I do still think that Tampa Bay is a bit better team. They should have won this game, but they couldn't score against Drieger. Florida played a lot better game than was expected, so they definitely showed that it's not going to be an easy series for Tampa Bay. So everything can happen in playoffs, of course. And in the other game, it was a coin flip as we expected it to be. So it was a good pick with this value, but this time Kings couldn't make it to their game. They had a couple of chances, like you mentioned. They hit the post a couple of times, had a good goal scoring chances, but St. Louis is this sort of team that they are very good in defense. So if you don't score from those chances you get, you're not gonna win the game. So St. Louis did deserve their victory in this time.
There were a few of these top games in West Division, Colorado in Vegas. This time it was Colorado that took a victory. Vegas outshot them quite clearly, but Grubauer played well, and Colorado showed that they can also win games by shutting down the opponent.
Yeah, it was a very good defensive effort by Colorado. They allowed a lot of shots, but not that many A-grade chances, and Vegas succumbed to their problems again, so they couldn't score despite shooting a lot. So it is a kind of a big picture of these teams is that Colorado and Vegas both are offensive teams. Vegas usually shooting a lot more, but not converting the goals, while Colorado is able to score goals even if they don't create as many chances as they usually do. So this will be a very interesting matchup when we go to the playoffs and see how these teams will match up against each other if they meet each other, and also how they are preparing if they meet the other teams. How are they going to play it? And let's see. Colorado, of course, is expected to play really offensive hockey, score a lot of goals. But now this was a good example that they are able to also shut down the opponent and play nice defense as well.
Then in North Division, Montreal, despite their loss to the Edmonton, they got 1 point and secured the playoffs. Do you think they have some chances to upset Toronto?
In one word, no. I don't think they have any chances. The way they played now against Edmonton, Edmonton maybe a little bit gift wrapped them the point that secured Montreal their playoff spot. So Edmonton was a better team in that game as well. Against Toronto, I don't see Montreal having a lot of chance unless they go full on New York Islanders mode, go defense and just try to hit back and close down the heavy offense of Toronto. But I don't see that happening. Toronto has been so good throughout the season, both in offense and now also in defense. And the goaltender Campbell has played so well that it is a hard team to beat and one of the favorites for sure to go to the top 4 and maybe even win the Stanley Cup after a couple of years wait.
One more game between next or first round playoff matchup was Carolina in Nashville, and even though Nashville played their second string goalie Pekka Rinne, he was man of the match and shut down the Carolina's offense very like he has been doing it years in Nashville. Do you think there is a chance for upset in this matchup against number 1 and number 4?
That's a little bit similar situation as is in Florida with these teams. So Tampa Bay and Carolina both are probably the biggest favorites, but Carolina had nothing to play for a couple of games now. They've lost 3 in a row. Heading to the playoffs, not the best situation for especially a little bit younger team. There are, of course, some veteran players as well to keep their feet on the ground, but maybe they got a little bit easy out and winning this division. So this sort of game, losing to their main rival now, Nashville, in quite a clear way, it might be a good wake-up call for this team that nothing comes cheap in this league. And a very good game from Nashville to show that, okay, we are not in the playoffs just by chance, but we do deserve to be there. And funnily enough, Pekka Rinne, the second string goalkeeper there, one of former Vezina candidates. So pretty good situation defensively with these Finnish goaltenders in Nashville. They just do have to play the way that they can play through the defense, trust their goaltenders, and be efficient in goal scoring as they have now when they rose to the playoffs after being down a little bit. So I do see this matchup being very interesting as well. 2 pretty much different teams and a lot of Finnish players. Of course, it's nice for us to see what happens.
Yeah, the Central Division is very interesting because last 10 games, Florida has won 8, Nashville 7, Tampa 6, and Carolina 5. And Florida is in 6-game winning streak, so they are red hot when they start playoff series against Tampa in Sunrise.
Yeah, it's good to remember though that after the regular season it's a clean slate, so it doesn't matter what you did in regular season anymore. Now it's a 1 game at a time, 1 series at a time. So these veteran teams that have the knowledge, like Tampa Bay, for example, they know exactly what is needed to go all the way. So that is an advantage at this point. But the way they were playing as of late, there is a little nagging worry there, probably for nothing, but it doesn't look that good as they have when they are playing their best.
Tonight there's only 2 games, so very easy picks for us. We cannot go wrong if Machine is right. Vancouver continues their series in Winnipeg. They don't have any chances to the playoffs. Winnipeg has already secured their spot, but has played horribly recently. Winnipeg has 1 win out of whatever X amount of games, at least 10 games, and again losing 2 games in a row. Also last night against Vancouver. Most probably not goal scoring extravaganza, at least Machine thinks that way, and also good odds plus 112 for under 5.5 goals. Then Boston against Washington could be also first round or is first round matchup. Now there is a clear indication that Boston is the up and coming team in this division. They were number 6 1 month ago, and now they are number 3. Has played very well recently, and Washington has maintained their level. This is more like value play for home team. We don't know too much which players are playing. If the Russian Washington Stars, Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Samsonov, Orlov are in COVID protocol or something else, but value at Washington plus 102 at home is valuable pick as well.
Yeah, in the East, Boston at Washington, it's a very even matchup all around. They're going to meet in playoffs. This is a preview of that last game of the regular season for both. Nothing really to play for except to get this feel of their opponent. It is likely that Washington will be without the top guns. Could be that Boston is also resting a couple of guys and trying to prevent anything bad happening in this sort of a preview game. With this setting, I think Washington at home with a plus odds, it's a good pick. In simulations, 58% of the games go for Capitals. But of course, like we've seen that nobody knows how the teams are going to approach these games, and it's a lot more of a coin flip, but the value is there for Capitals, so we picked that one this time. At least the goaltenders for both teams are probably going to be pretty good, so it's going to be a even matchup, but Capitals have the chance to win this one at home. In the other game, Winnipeg has been horrible. They're going to the playoffs. Nothing is going their way. They are now starting Connor Hellebuck, their number one goalkeeper, that needs to do better. They need to help him as well. Vancouver also out of the playoffs already. Not a very good season for them, except for the goaltenders. Both of them played really well, so this is a clear under in our papers. If you want to pick a man of the match from either of these teams, you would pick the goaltender. So under 5.5 goals with nice odds plus 112. In the simulations, a little bit more than 50%, so nice value for the under. I think Winnipeg especially needs to now just concentrate on getting their defense intact, because it seems that they're not capable of scoring a lot of goals. So it's going to be a tough break for them. In the playoffs, they're going to face Edmonton Oilers. So heavy offensive team there. Get your defense and your goaltender with a little bit of confidence heading there, and you might stand a chance. But Winnipeg is not going to win any games if it goes to these 5-6 goal games.
Yeah, they may have also a chance to drop to fourth if they lose both of their remaining games and Montreal wins. But that is, of course, very big if in case of Montreal. But regardless, Toronto and Edmonton both are heavy offense teams. So right now, like you said, both Winnipeg and Montreal have best chance if they shut down their side of the arena and don't allow any goals by these offensive machines.
Exactly, that's the play of hockey that they have to play, and very defensive and very boring way of playing. But that's the only way you can beat the Torontos and Edmontons of this league.
Let's see how Winnipeg plays tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with razor sharp analysis of that game.
See you tomorrow.